So a few years ago, I thought I would dethatch my yard. You know what that is, where you pick up all that dead grass and dead matter at the roots of your grass. And I got this really nice electric dethatcher, but the only problem was it kept overheating and tripping the thermal protector, and then I have to let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes to cool off. Hey, I thought this was a video about running, not lawn care. Be patient. This is a great example of my quick start run, walk, run method, so be cool. All right then, carry on. So if you're a runner and never heard of Jeff Galloway, you're in for a treat. Jeff is a 70-year-old former Olympian. He ran the 10,000 meter in the 1972 Summer Olympics in Germany. And a few years after that, he just started developing this run, walk, run method. Mostly as a method to get more people interested in running. And I've been following it for several years and developed this quick start method to get started. So I'd like to tell you more about it, but let's go inside where it's a little quieter and a little less buggy and a little less windy. Welcome to the Ageless Runner. I'm Ralph. Before I talk about my easy start to the run, walk, run method, would you be so kind as to hit the subscribe button down in the corner of this video and subscribe to my channel? Thank you so much. So one of the big questions in starting the Galloway Run, Walk, Run method is, how long do I run? How long do I walk? And there's really two ways you can determine that. First way is go to jeffgalloway.com and read up on his method. He has something he calls the magic mile that is really a timed mile, and based on the results of that mile, he has some suggestions on times to run and times to walk. I never did that. I didn't have access to a track. I didn't think I could set a reasonable 1 mile distance with my phone or my car, so I just kind of did it through trial and error. So the second method is what I call the magic ratio. That's my magic, the magic ratio, and that's a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning you run and walk for the same time. That's a great method that I use even today sometimes during my run, but it's a great method to figure out your starting times for running and walking. And that's kind of why I brought up my dethatching example. To solve my overheating problem, I would dethatch a little bit and then pause a little bit, almost the same amount of time. So however long I dethatched, I then paused. And what that did is I kept the temperatures of my dethatcher low enough that it didn't trip the thermal breaker. And the more I did, the more I played around with, can I dethatch a little longer? Do I need to wait a little longer? And kind of fine-tune that to where I could dip my whole yard without tripping the breaker anymore. So if you don't have one, get an interval app, because you'll need that for your smartphone or your smartwatch, and set 2 10-second intervals. You could do 2 15-second intervals if you're maybe more fit, if you're already running a little bit or you're biking, but I think 2 10-second intervals works best. But here's the process. Start your timer and start running. So you're going to run for 10 seconds and walk for 10 seconds, and you keep alternating 10 and 10 until you reach the 5-minute mark. And when you get there, kind of do a self-check. How are you feeling? Are you doing pretty good? You want to stay at 10 and 10, continue on. But maybe you feel like you could add a cycle. Maybe you could add 1 10-second cycle to your run. Go ahead. In which case you would count 2 10-second cycles to run, and you would walk 1 10-second cycle. Maybe you're struggling a little bit. Maybe it's a little hard for you because you've never run before, in which case you want to add a cycle to the walk. So you would count 1 cycle to run and 2 cycles to walk, and keep running. And then when you get to the 10-minute mark, go through the same evaluation. Can you add a run cycle? Maybe you need to take one away. Maybe you need to add a walk cycle or take a walk cycle away, or continue on and do that every 5 minutes. So you have 2 goals during this cycle. I want you to run 20 minutes. So keep adjusting those cycles so you can go 20 minutes. And the second goal is don't walk more than 30 seconds. Jeff says walking more than 30 seconds doesn't bring much value. In fact, I have found if you walk too long, it'll actually take you back and degrade your run. I'll get my smartphone out and I'll be checking something. Pretty soon I've walked a minute or more and I'm starting to get stiff already. So when I start running again, it's a little stiff, a little hard. So don't walk more than 30 seconds. So when you do your second run, still use the 10-second timer, 10 walk, 10 run, but do the number of cycles where you left off on your first run. For example, if you were counting 3 cycles or 30 seconds to run and 2 cycles or 20 seconds to walk, start there. Now, you don't necessarily need to check yourself every 5 minutes in this second run, but maybe go halfway. Again, you're shooting for at least 20 minutes. The 10-minute mark, how are you doing? Do you think you can go at the 20 minutes at that run and walk interval? If so, keep doing. If not, make a slight adjustment. But at the end of this second run, you ought to have a pretty good idea of your run time and your walk time, so you can do this for 20 minutes. And then going forward, take that value and set a new timer for your new run time and your new walk time. For example, maybe at the end of your second run, you've decided, I think I can run 20 seconds, but I need to walk 15. So set a timer for that and start using that as your run walk time. Now you might want to change those over time, and I have a tips video that I'll queue up at the end here to help you adjust those based on temperature or distance or some other variables that might impact your run. And of course, as you get stronger, you may want to change those. I've been doing the Galloway Run, Walk, Run for about 3 years, And where I'm at today is my run time typically varies between 1 minute and 1 minute 30 seconds. My walk time is typically between 15 seconds and 30 seconds. And I adjust those depending on some of the issues in my tips video that I'll cue up here at the end. So thanks again for watching my video. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. Again, if you wouldn't mind, I'd really appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button, subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.